Omega was founded by a husband and wife team in 2002. I came on board in 2005. At that time, the business was about $500,000 in revenue, and we grew organically up until 2021, where we hit a little over $20 million in revenue. The early years of growth were really fun. Some years we doubled the size of the business, and that was through the Ben and Bill sales effort. Bill, our founder, was the salesperson, and I was the engineer. So we would go out side by side, and just the goal was to win clients. In 2021, we were about 60 employees, and by the end of 2022, we were close to 180 employees. So, our focus from a business perspective, the ideal client is really someone who has regulatory requirements. So banking, insurance, financial services, local law enforcement.
And so our Smart Comply offering is what we launched last year, as we saw a need being created with the many changes in the regulatory environment, whether it's CMMC, SEC, FTC with the GLBA safeguards. And so there's a lot of unknowns with a small to mid-sized company that doesn't have an inside or in-house compliance department. So on the security side, we definitely always had a need for event log capturing and monitoring. And so the traditional SIM platforms, years ago, we obviously had those. They were expensive, they didn't scale well, and from an MSP perspective, there was very few that were multi-tenant. And we had the unique opportunity, since we have our own data center, where we would house SIM platforms in our data center and offer those out to customers that needed those as a regulatory need. I'd say traditional SIM platforms are what I would say old guard. They're looking for specific event IDs or patterns to occur. Those are written and maintained by our SOC team. And so there's a lot of care and feeding that goes into maintaining a SIM platform. It's very expensive, not just from a licensing perspective, but for infrastructure to run, store, and maintain. And then also the level of employee that you have to pay to maintain and work a system and keep up with that.
When Nicole reached out to us and said, hey, take a look at this MDR offering. And I said to Rick, sure, look at it, but I'm not seriously entertained. We just bought this software a year ago, right? But what we were finding was in our deployments, there was a lot of resource requirements on the customer. And really what I saw from our business perspective is our sales team will go out and sell something or sell SIM or sell our SOC services, but it'd take us 2 weeks to get the project started. And the customer came back and said, listen, I need greater coverage, I need better and deeper protection and visibility, but I have Palo Alto firewalls. Will you support that? Well, it was really hard for us to do that on our own platform, but with MDR, we could integrate, Palo Alto, SonicWall, Fortinet. It really didn't matter because the depth of the integrations were so much greater in MDR.
We were blown away with the MDR product from N-Able. With N-Able MDR, a lot of the struggles that we had as an MSP were immediately alleviated. The initial investigation, ruling out the white noise and the false positives, that's all done for us. And we're only getting the escalations to our SOC team that need to be reacted to. And so now I don't need to plan for expanding, the tier 1 SOC team for this year. It's built into the MDR platform and it scales appropriately as we bring new customers on. And so from a security perspective, there's several pieces to the puzzle that need to be put together. And without an MDR platform to pull all of that together, you're spending a lot of time either looking at individual platforms to monitor and keep up with those, or you're just not monitoring them altogether and hoping something doesn't happen. And so if you're only using EDR and saying, I'm covered, you're not, because you're only covering your endpoints. And that's not always the point of infiltration from a threat actor. They're taking those high value targets like an Azure login, right? And so being able to pull your Azure logs into an MDR solution and use AI and behavioral patterning to find the anomalous behavior is huge.
We can go from a contract signing today to being onboarded sometimes the same day in MDR, whereas on our old platform, it'd take us about a month to actually be able to deliver those services, which is huge. Customers, when they buy something, they want it as quick as they can, but typically there's a need there, right? If it takes us a month to turn around and deliver services, we aren't doing the best for our customers, right? We just aren't. If we don't deliver in a time frame, they're going to go somewhere else. So we wanted a platform that the time to revenue was decreased, and MDR gives us that.
With N-Able MDR, we only need to react when there's an issue. So the care, the feeding, the maintenance, all of that is handled for us, including the frontline initial investigation. In addition to having the ability, if we need some help with something we haven't seen before, or maybe we're just too busy with reacting to other IR cases, we can have the MDR team also assist us with those investigations as well.
So there's a huge opportunity. Probably the bigger opportunity is with our existing client base. Our existing clients, we have SIM deployed to today. We've converted all those customers over to MDR. This has given our sales team a huge upsell opportunity to go into their customer base and say, well, listen, we're only looking at this part of your environment, but our new solution, we can look like this, right? We can pull in SaaS-based applications that we weren't able to before, right? Because of the integrations that MDR has, it's opened up new potential for our sales team and greater security for our clients. I feel we're delivering a better protection, better value to our clients, but also giving our sales team the ability to capture in the company additional revenue.